Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Are you hearing the defense's astonishing proposal? Isn't it cool, though? That the witness fabricated this vast machine with the intention of deceiving some wretched scientist. Wretched? Hey, that's your friend! That he did it so in collusion with the country's finest coroner, on a public stage in front of a vast audience. And that, to effect the deception, he used a waxwork model that in no way resembles the victim. Are we really to believe this far-fetched tale? What do you decide? Is this where everyone's gonna go guilty? Oh my god. Wait! Yes! If you put it like that, of course it sounds implausible. My lord. Oh, there he goes. I need to speak if you'll please. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Myself and my colleagues have reached an agreement. Yeah. Here it is. Here's the summation examination. Very good. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your learnings for the court to hear now. Yeah. Yeah. You're boring. You're all boring. You're all boring. So, as indicated by the foreman, the jury has reached a consensus. I knew that was going to happen. We shall get through this, Mr. Naruhodo, as we always do. And uncover some new truth along the way, I'm quite sure. Yes, I agree. I'm going to have to appeal to the jurors as usual, and see if I can persuade them to change their minds. The defense will now embark on a summation examination. Are you and your fellows ready to proceed, Mr. Foreman? We are, my lord. Very well. In that case, I ask you now to state clearly for all present to hear the grounds on which each of you have decided that the defendant is now guilty of the crime of which he is charged. I've known that woman for years. She's never been an accomplice to anything. I don't remember his voice. Whatever. It's utter nonsense to think that these two could ever be conniving with one another. Oh dear, this is most troubling. But surely the waxwork the man stole has nothing to do with the coroner, is it? I've had my own problems with members of the police. I do not trust them much. Then why did you fucking vote as guilty then? You should have been the not guilty. I was counting on you. I've seen no rigorous proof that this waxwork ever did accusing someone without right evidence? He's not a proper job, is he? I won't have it. I don't fucking know, whatever. Somewhat unsurprisingly, it seems the introduction of this waxwork model to the proceedings has polarized opinions. I love that there's no explanation as to why this thing is here all of a sudden, out of nowhere. Given that its face is obscured and its built in no way resembles that of the victim. I can only applaud my learned friend's temerity at suggesting it as Mr. Asman's body double. Yes, the applause is deafening. And yes, I know it seems extraordinary. I mean, can you see things clearly 60 feet up in the air? Probably not. But that's the point. That's why I have a strong feeling. It's actually a greater clue than anyone yet realizes. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't explain why at the moment. But I feel as though there's a specific reason why it was used. Why it had to be this model. Really? A reason why nothing else would do, you mean? Yes, and I'm convinced. It's something far more significant than whether or not the model looked like the victim. Well, if that's the case, we must prevent the trial from ending prematurely at all costs. Yes, agreed. I have to find a way out of this. If you're ready, counsel, you may proceed with the summation examination. Yes, my lord. I mean, is it to do with the fact that it was, that it was hiding behind a curtain that you have to pay in order to get it? Is it the fact that it's supposed to be dirty so that if it blew up, then it can still be dirty and people would be none the wiser? Or is it the fact that it has a detachable head? I don't fucking know. How do you do the summation examination? I'm gonna press everything. Okay. The order of things seem to have changed around here for some reason. I'm a copper, lad. It's a copper's discretion to bend the rules sometimes, when need must. What's wrong with that? Oh, where do I start? Start with the fact that he's holding a gun in court. Although, it looks like he has the trigger pulled. That trigger is literally pulled back. Is he holding it down? Is it empty? That's weird. I've been working at the yard for 40 odd years. That's even more than I thought. I've only had a metropolitan police service in town for 70 years, you know. Of course, times have changed. Public didn't trust coppers back when I started. It was rough. We had to fight crime, and we had to fight to win the public's trust as well. And when we did, forensic science was in its infancy too, even more than at the time, and she spearheaded the revolution. Dr. Sith, you mean? That's right. About 10 years ago now it was, when I was still a youngish Bobby at the beat. That's when she started making a name for herself as a top-class coroner. And now look at her, head of the forensic investigation team, and a woman no less. Well, you won't hear me complain. It's what we all dreamed of back then, I tell ya. Could you tell me without holding that gun in the air? We were all out to uphold justice, lad. Full of vim we were, full of vim. What's a vim? It's coming across loud and clear. You clearly have a bias. Get away from me. Utter nonsense to think that these two would ever be conniving with one another. But we're only just starting to understand this case. What are you reading there, sir? Yesterday's newspaper, apparently? Or the day before yesterday, I think? The man behind those murders on Solar Pond Street was caught in 2 days flat. That's real policing for you. That's really not relevant to this case, is it? You're wrong there. Oh, I gave him the same voice as the cop or whatever. Because it was Dr. Sith in charge of examining the bodies. And it was evidence arising from her work that led to the arrest of the scoundrel responsible. Oh. That's right! Oh! That woman is at the forefront of this country's fight against crime. The idea that she's somehow involved in this murky business is a load of old tosh. I thought it was up to me to press the jurors, not the other way around.
Oh dear, this is most troubling, but surely the waxwork the man stole is nothing in our corner, is it?
Why would you assume that?
Well, quite simply because that unsettling swindler has no relation with the woman, does he?
True. As it stands, we don't know any connection.
Oh gosh, but it would be delightfully romantic if they were somehow to have a mutual interest in the waxwork.
Romantic?
A woman of society such as myself views everything in terms of relationships, you know?
What is she? Well, you learn something new every day, even if you don't want to.
One might wonder about a possible relationship between the defendant and this coroner woman. Or perhaps between the defendant and the handsome prosecutor just over there.
Oh. This woman may be more astute than I'd been giving her credit for.
If that's the woman's stance, then perhaps demonstrating some connection between the waxwork and Dr. Sith would be enough.
Yes, I agree. As soon as we have even a whiff of connection, she'll be the first to know. So we need to find a connection between Drebber and Sith. I have had my own problems with members of the police. I do not trust them as much. What sort of problems? Let's just say we have run into each other on numerous occasions while I've been performing on the streets. Right, I see. Obviously, artists such as myself cannot appear on stage as we work in close proximity to our audiences. So we perform our great magic in parks, on street corners, and the like. But the police use any excuse to make our lives difficult. Is it a copper? There he is. Oh my god, what are you doing? Do you have something to say in response to that, Mr. Automole? Oh, we know his name? Who are you calling a mass murderer? Sorry, my mistake. I got confused because I heard you look like him. Who? Is he, was Automole that one wax statue that we saw that he was sitting next to or something? He was a killer, right? I don't look anything like that, man. You want to be locked up, Sonny. That was so long, I don't remember shit. Thanks, Mr. Sholmes. Perhaps we can move on. I was really wondering if you had something you wanted to add in response to what juror number 3 just said. And clearly you do. Stop it. God damn it. This is why people don't trust the cops. What are you doing waving that gun around? Back in my day. Back in the good old days. It wasn't like this. What? What was it like, sir? We worked our fingers to the bone to earn the public's trust. We did. And by Jove, we earned it. People respected us back then. Respected you? No one would have called a coroner to question in them days. Coroner's report was the hallmark of an investigation done right. Especially when Dr. Courtney Stevens put her name to it. There it is! Why is that name the professor. Alright. She was the best of the best. And the apple of the fool's eye. Hold on a minute. What are you talking about? Who's Courtney Stevens? There it is. Sorry. Got a bit carried away there. Stevens is Dr. Sith's maiden name. She married a Sith. Her maiden name? So that was before she was married. Of course, yes. Silly me. It's Sith now, isn't it? Stevens. I'm sure I've seen that name somewhere recently. Anyway, the point is, those were the great days of policing. Not like now. Sorry to interrupt, sir. But do you think you could change your statement to include that name? Well, yes. I don't see why not. She was Courtney Stevens back when I knew her, of course. Legendary coroner even then. I have this, but this doesn't tie in specifically with Drebber yet? Or does it? Or does it? How do I put these two together? Or how do I put the two, wait, I wasn't done. But do I... Oh, I didn't realize that was the end. Oops. I know it seems a little far-fetched to think that the waxwork model of the professor was in that birdcage. But on the other hand, it explains a lot. If there really is a reason why that particular waxwork had to be used as Mr. Asman's double, we must do everything we can to make the jurors understand it. The truth is, I'm sure that's the key to this, but it's the most puzzling part of it too. In that case, you should see what additional information you can glean whilst trying to change the jurors' minds. If you can read a book whilst eating rice cracker, Miss Naruhodo, I'm sure you can do this. Oh, right, okay. What? Trivial. I don't know if it's time to pit this. Oh, okay, it worked. I guess that the statement that the lady was saying was the waxwork with the coroner, not exactly with Drebber, so there is the connection there. Okay. Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Lord gracious, I'm here too. To which statements do you prefer, counsel? Refer, I mean. So, juror number 2.
Oh gosh, me? What can I do for you?
I presume you heard what juror number 6 said in his statement. It's brought to light the maiden name of the coroner, Dr. Sith, which in turn has revealed a connection that wasn't apparent before.
Well, naturally, as a woman of society, I find such connections and relationships irresistible. But oh golly, I'm afraid I fail to see what you mean.
Dr. Sith's maiden name is Stevens. And through that name, the coroner is very definitely linked to the waxwork of the killer. The defense has evidence to prove it.
My goodness, evidence you say? How utterly enthralling.
Counsel, the court cannot overlook that last remark. I very much hope there is substance to your claim. Of course, my lord. I would ask the court to look at this. The evidence that clearly links Dr. Sith to the mass murderer known as the Professor. Professor! What? Okay. I have here a certain autopsy report from 10 years ago. A 10-year-old autopsy report. What relevance does it have? It is, of course, from the autopsy of the person portrayed in the waxwork, the killer known as the Professor. The Professors? But that man was a capital offender, so... That's right. This is a certification of death that was drawn up after the convict's execution. The identity of the killer was never made public, so the report gives few details. But what's important is the name of the coroner who wrote it. Courtney Stevens.
Oh my, Courtney Stevens.
Strike a lot!
It appears that the professor's autopsy was conducted by Dr. Sith 10 years ago. And a few days ago, Mr. Drebber was very deliberately stole the waxwork of the professor from Madame Tussauds. A waxwork that doesn't, in fact, resemble the victim, Mr. Aspen, at all. And do you suppose there's some unsavory relationship between those events?
Absolutely. I'm sure of it. There's no doubt in my mind that the professor's case is at the heart of a link that we have yet to uncover. Between Dr. Courtney Sith and Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Hidden links, mysterious connections, secret relationships. This is all most extraordinary. We're surely obliged now to explore this further. Not guilty, bitch.
Or not, sorry, that's not guilty. Well, it is kind of a not guilty. I was about to say, did I already say this, that, Courtney might have been married to the professor? And the professor was a Sith? Maybe? Quite right. We can't let this trial come to an end now. Now while there's cloud of suspicion hanging over the yard's best corner. Really? It wasn't like this in my day, but we're still here to uphold justice in the end. Oh, you might be a good guy. I wasn't expecting your fire. Cool.
It's the professor. That's what links that frightful swindler in the corner.
Apparently I'm not done yet. We didn't finish his thing because he got interrupted. What sort of problems? Blah 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 blah. But the police use any excuse to make our lives difficult. Sometimes they even cook up a story to extort monies from the poor. Well, that's definitely not right. Yes, and it is why I say that if you trust the police, you will have trouble. Amen. But here you are, claiming this waxwork model was stolen to star in an illusionary spectacular. The idea is so wild, I think I will take my chances and believe the authorities on this occasion. What the fuck, dog? What the fuck did you just say? This is how the public at large view Scotland Yard, is it?
Our own police force in Tokyo is not even 20 years old yet, is it? Perhaps we should view what's happened here in London as a measure of what may happen at home.
Yes, like a Scotland Yardstick. Pff, what? I wonder how a policeman would feel listening to the way this juror speaks about the force. I'm sure he'd have a word or two to say in response. Oh, that's just a hint telling me to pay attention to the fucking copper. But I already did that. I've seen no proof that the waxwork was ever the. Oh wait, I have proof of this, don't I? But I can't present it. I have the glass. But you claimed the whole instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a trick. That I did. But there's more than one way to pull a rabbit out of a hat, isn't there? Oh, do it now. Do it now. Sorry? I grant you, given that this cage appeared from amidst an explosion, there had been no need to use a real person. But if a waxwork had been used, the culprit could at least have had the decency to make it look like the victim. Oh god. I'm not exactly sure how many criminals are governed by decency. The point is, if you're going to make claims about that waxwork being inside the birdcage, you need to give us some evidence. Without that, it's just not science. For some reason, doing his voice is making me gassy.
I suppose we should expect nothing less than a logical argument from a fellow of the Royal Society. But that perhaps means his mind could be changed if we'd managed to present suitable evidence.
How do I do it? Evidence that the Professor Waxwork was inside that birdcage. Can I produce that or not? I do. Actually, I have something I'd like you to see, sir. Oh? Oh wait, before I do that, I never examined the glass. This piece of glass is almost as thick as it is wide.
Yes, I've never seen anything like it.
If you were to compare it to a human, only Mr. Sholmes had such thick skin. Oh my gosh.
There's really no need for such a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, as you well know.
Anyway, it can only be from the Crystal Tower, surely.
Yes, I think so too. It was probably made especially to meet the demands of that great structure.
Okay. I must warn you that I firmly believe it's only wise to trust men in white coats. But you're not. You're wearing black. So given your jet black outfit, I don't mind admitting to a sense of trepidation here. Motherfucker, I'm not wearing black! God dang it. So you don't trust anyone in black? Looking in the mirror must be very trying. Fuck. You're not even wearing black! God dang it! Let me enjoy my goddamn blue suit, and don't take me out of the goddamn moment.
Whatever. I do have some evidence that proves that the waxwork was inside the birdcage. Name it.
What's that? A piece of glass. Though it's unusually thick for glass.
Yes, it's a piece of broken glass that we found inside the jacket of the waxwork. As you say, it's not ordinary glass though. It's very thick and clearly made for extra strength. Much like the special glass that was developed for the construction of the Crystal Tower.
The Crystal Tower? Holy smokes!
Exactly. The centerpiece of the Great Exhibition, where the very incident we're talking about took place. On the day in question, the birdcage fell from above and smashed through a window in that special glass.
From whence the small piece originated? Is that it?
Precisely. So, what do you say? Now that the clear evidence in support of the assertion has been placed before you.
Okay. Well, as I said, I only trust men in white coats as a rule. However, when the reasoning is sound, it's fair to say color shouldn't come into it. In light of what you showed me here, yes, I feel obliged to change my position on the matter.
You know, we don't have... The police themselves didn't bring up this glass thing, so we could have just pulled that from our asses, and no one would be the wiser. But he's accepting it, so I guess it's okay.
In that case, rule number 4. You will amend your statement now, please.
Hit your fire. The presence of that piece of glass late me, and all that, the wax, but where? What you got to say?
Accusing someone without right evidence is not a private
Am I fucking pitting her against the fucking old man? I am. I can't believe Corn Lady is involved in this. Those two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious, don't pick on the little lady.
If you could put down your corn for a moment, juror number 5.
No, you mean me?
You've pointed out that it's wrong to make an accusation without evidence. But the accusation that the waxwork model was inside the second birdcage on that day in question is not without supporting evidence, as the defense demonstrated to the jurors sitting beside you.
Oh, is that right?
Would it be fair to say you didn't follow the argument?
I don't understand much besides Colonel Cobb, to be honest.
What the hell is Colonel Cobb? Of course you don't.
If I could interject here.
Please do, sir.
Now that this assertion of yours about the waxwork has been backed up by some solid evidence, it would be wrong of me as a man of science not to pursue the matter further.
Why did we have to talk to the corn lady for that? Whatever. The corn lady could have just literally said, I like corn! We could have just ignored this part.
Oh, well, me too then.
Oh, I guess we needed her to... sorry?
You just bring the gentleman says he's right, then he must be it. See? I wouldn't dream of going against Colonel Cobb or anyone who's got stuff in between the ears.
What is Colonel Cobb? Success! If you can call it that. Hey man, this is it's a win and a win. Win and a win is a win and a win and a win.
Thank you, counsel. That will do. As a result of the summation examination, the jury's overall leading has changed. 2 jurors now called guilty, against 4 who called not guilty. Accordingly, the court has failed to reach a consensus at this time. And the trial must continue.
We did it!
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Another wonderful victory.
Why do we do this every time? Whatever.
The waxwork of the despicable professor, used as a body double for the victim in this quite extraordinary case. I must say, it's extremely hard to believe the assertion could possibly be true. However, it would appear that it does at least warrant further investigation.
It's the waxwork of the professor that links Mr. Drebin and Dr. Sith. And I'm convinced that there's a special significance to that link.
I don't know what you're hoping to prove, lad, but I really don't.
The truth, sir, by using evidence and testimony.
If the court is to delve deeper into this alleged involvement of the waxwork in this case, then the prosecution calls for the owner of the model to be summoned as a witness. The owner?
To spell?
Madame Tuspels.
I really thought that Lord Van Cease would object to this whole line of inquiry.
Very well. I concur. Make arrangements for Madame Dispels to appear as a witness, with immediate effect.
We brought her in before we brought in Sith. I guess whatever.
Listen carefully, my lord friend.
Yes?
You should know that you're on the brink of opening Pandora's box.
That's okay, we're bored anyway. Shit. We ain't got shit to do.
The court shall now adjourn for 45 minutes. During that time, the prosecution will summon a new witness and prepare her for taking the stand. Madame Dispels, yes. I shall see to it at once, my lord.
And that is where I am going to end for today. That seems a good place to end, and right before the sun goes fully down, actually the sun is not even out right now, it's cloudy as hell. But before it goes down too far, before it gets too dark. So we'll stop here. This is a good place to stop. And I can have dinner. But yeah, we're about to, I'm probably actually going to pick this up tomorrow. Not that it matters to you guys, but I'm looking forward to see what Dispel has to say, and when to see that fucking sussy bitch come on stage and see what the fuck is going on. What's happening, my dudes? You can't trust the bitches. I'm sorry. You can trust bitches. You just can't trust this bitch. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know. I don't have nothing to say. I'm gonna go eat my kimchi stew now. Bye!